The time has come to answer the $1 million question. Now you're sat wondering, what on God's earth is the $1 million question? Igor Tudor, have you earned yourself a new contract? Have you earned yourself a 12-month extension? Have you earned yourself 2-3 years? Have you earned yourself the right to be Juventus manager? Because he's come out after the game against Venezia and said, listen, Gintuli has come out and made it public knowledge that my future will be decided after the Club World Cup. But in reality, it will be decided before the Club World Cup. He might be told, listen, you're not the manager for next season, but you're still in charge for the Club World Cup. And I feel like from now and the next 2 to 3 weeks, everybody will be keeping an eye on the news. What does the future hold for Igor Tudor? Now, my question is to you guys, and this is the $1 million question. Has he done enough to earn himself one more season? Has he done enough to earn himself a 2-3 year contract to oversee the next project? Has he done enough to be Juventus manager next season? Do you want to see Igor Tudor as Juventus coach next season? And for me, I feel like this is the easiest decision anybody can make. And I feel like there's a lot of context around it, which makes it the correct decision. Now, this is my opinion. In my opinion, Tudor came in and he had one job and one job only. He had one assignment. He had one objective: secure Champions League football. Nobody cares how you secure it. Nobody cares how you play. Like, you could literally play the worst football in the world, but as long as you secure Champions League football, you've gotten your job done. Now, of course, he's come in. He's implemented his style. You could see the high press, not on a consistent basis, but you could see at times the high press. You could see the compactness of the ball. You could see the team shape. You could see some players beginning to play with a smile on their face, such as a Kenan Yildiz, who was integral to Igor Tudor securing Champions League football. So Igor Tudor could now go to the negotiations table and say, listen, you told me secure Champions League football, and I've done it. I've had 9 games. I've won 5, I've drawn 3, and I've lost 1. But at the end of the campaign, I delivered you Champions League football. So, can I stay? In my opinion, I would let Igor Tudor go. Now, let me break it down to you guys. And this is why I said there's a lot of context. There's a lot of background information that we need to dive into. For me, Tudor, as much as he's done well, I still look at him as like a stopgap manager. Like somebody that comes in, gets the job done in a very short period of time. Juventus, I feel like with Tudor, Juventus, maybe if he stays next season, they're competing for top 4 once again. I haven't seen enough to tell me, give him a 38 league campaign and he will get this team competing. I haven't seen that. I think, fair enough, like he's only had 9 games. Now, you can't really implement your tactics and your philosophy without a transfer window, without pre-season. But even then, I look at him and I look at the managers out there that Juventus can potentially get, and I see winners. I see managers of pedigree. I see managers of class. And I see managers that understand this area. And when I see those managers and I compare them to Tudor, Tudor for me is not an option. Now, let me break it down for you guys. There's been a lot of talk as of late that Al Hilal in Saudi, their primary target for the summer is Simone Inzaghi, okay? They've approached him on 2 or 3 different occasions. And let's be real, there's no smoke without fire. This is generational wealth. This is an opportunity for you to go there for a few years, make crazy money, and you're still welcomed with open arms in the Serie A, in Italian football. And I've got a dirty feeling, if Simone Inzaghi was to win this Champions League, he will turn around and look at Inter and say, I've delivered Scudettos, I've delivered a Champions League, I've delivered a Supercoppa, and I've delivered the Coppa Italia. I've developed players, I've revolutionized the club, I've taken the club out of the banter era. But now is an opportunity for me to go elsewhere, a new environment, to make some crazy money. And let's be real, no manager, no coach is turning down what Saudi is offering. Now you're probably sat thinking, why is this information important to me? It's important because Juventus, they aspire, they want to get back to the level of not just competing for top 4. They want to be competing for the Scudetto. They want to be winning. When the best team in the Serie A this season, Napoli, are about to lose their coach. We all know Antonio Conte is leaving. So the best team in Italy this season is losing their coach. So that's already a drop-off from Napoli. The second best team in Italy, Inter, could be potentially losing their coach. So number 1 and number 2 in the Serie A are both about, well, one of them is a guarantee. Antonio Conte is leaving. The second one, potentially leaving. If I was part of this Juventus board, I'd be sat licking my lips. Yeah? You see that Ronaldinho Champions League video where he's there like, bro, that would be me. I'd be like, the best team that won the Serie A, Conte, is leaving and he's available. Simone Inzaghi is potentially leaving. No matter who they replace him with, there will be a drop-off. Inter will drop off. Napoli will drop off next season. This is Juventus' opportunity to step up, to close the gap. If anything, to overcome them. How do you do this? You do this by bringing in the coach that competed with Simone Inzaghi, that beat Simone Inzaghi, okay? And that is Antonio Conte. Yeah, I just think it's so fitting. This is the perfect opportunity when your rivals face any format of adversity, whether it's selling their best of players, losing their best coach, you need to capitalize. That's what the best of teams do. Okay? They always turn around and say, football, it's a game of cycles. One day for you, one day against you. These are all predictions. These are all assumptions, okay? Like Simone Inzaghi can turn around and say, listen, I'm staying at Inter. But even then, even if Simone Inzaghi was to stay at Inter, there's only one coach in the Serie A this season that has shown I can compete with Simone Inzaghi and I can win the Scudetto ahead of him. And that is Antonio Conte. And Antonio Conte is leaving Napoli. He is available. So even if Simone Inzaghi was to stay, I would still turn around and say, Tudor, thank you for your job. But Antonio Conte is the far better coach. Antonio Conte is the person that will take this team and turn them into Serie A champions. Igor Tudor, I don't see it yet. I don't see a coach that can turn this team into Serie A champions. I see a coach that can probably guarantee Champions League football for the next 2 to 3 years. Like, they will compete and they will get Champions League football. The following season, they will compete and they will get Champions League football. For me, Tudor, he doesn't belong on the table of coaches that can compete for the Scudetto, because I look at the competition and I tell myself, as long as Simone Inzaghi is here, he is a far better coach. And he will get more out of his players regardless of how much Juventus spend and back Tudor. Antonio Conte, regardless of the team he is at, he will get more out of his players than somebody like Igor Tudor. Like, at the end of the day, it's not me being disrespectful. It's just some coaches are better than others. Some coaches' play style is more penetrative, it's more potent, it's more impactful. And one of those coaches, Antonio Conte, is available. The other coach, fair enough, he's not really attainable. You can't go to Inter and grab Simone Inzaghi, but he might be potentially leaving. Like, this is going to be a wild take. If Conte leaves Napoli and if Simone Inzaghi leaves Inter, next season, I will look at Juventus and say, with Antonio Conte, you should go out and win the Scudetto. It's crazy. It's a crazy hot take to make. The competition, your rivals are dropping off. You seize the opportunity and you capitalize by making a statement managerial appointment. Antonio Conte returning to Turin is a statement managerial appointment. And it doesn't mean Tudor is not good. It doesn't mean Tudor doesn't deserve to stay. Tudor has done well. But there's better out there. And what the best of teams do, one thing the best teams in the world have in their locker book, the teams that maintain their dominance at the top, they have one thing in common. On top of making the correct decisions at board level, signing the correct players, they have one thing in common. The best teams in the world, in order for them to maintain that level of pedigree, in order for them to maintain their status at the top of football, they are ruthless. There's no time for sentiment. There's no emotions behind our decision making. Yes, you represented Juventus as a player. Yes, you tasted silverware with Juventus. Yes, you were here under Andrea Pirlo. Yes, you got this team Champions League football. But there's better out there. No sentiment, no emotion. We will do what's best for the club. And what's best for Juventus is Antonio Conte. Okay? It's Antonio Conte. Now, that is my opinion. And if it actually turns out to be the case, Conte leaves, Simone Inzaghi leaves, I feel like the title is screaming Juventus as long as they make the correct managerial appointment. Now, I would love to hear you guys' opinion, because I feel like this is definitely a question that everybody might look at in a different way. Some look at it from an emotional perspective. Some look at it from a growth perspective. Some, it's crazy. But make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys on another one.